The United Nations observer mission in Syria has officially come to an end. The newly appointed mediator, Lakhdar Brahimi, is now tasked with reinvigorating the peace process. Moscow has voiced its regret that the UN mandate couldn't be prolonged and has warned Washington against imposing a no-fly zone over Syria, something that helped topple the Gadaffi regime in Libya. Syria experienced a lull in fighting, with many spending their Sunday praying to mark the end of the holy month of Ramadan. President Bashar al-Assad was shown on state TV praying in a mosque, his first public appearance since last month's bomb blast killed his top security officials. Some residents of Aleppo, the country's commercial hub, went out to sweep the streets, littered with debris and shrapnel after weeks of street battles between the regime and rebels. RT's Oksana Boyko visited one southern village to see how people there are trying to build better lives for themselves despite the bloodshed.
It's a ritual all in Syria have become painfully accustomed to. Neighbors and relatives coming to pay homage to yet another of the fallen. There are few tears, at least in public. The dead are considered martyrs, now in heaven. But the sense of loss is suffocating. Hassan was an army captain. He was taken down by a sniper in Damascus.
All I want to say to his killers is that violence is the worst solution. It only leads to more violence.
This is the sixth victim in the village of Al-Quraya in southern Syria. All of them were serving in the army and all were killed far from home. The village itself hasn't seen any violent clashes, and for the locals, it's no coincidence. They call it Al-Quraya Civil Council. It was established when the uprising in Syria started to turn violent, with the specific goal of keeping armed groups at bay. Locals figured out the best way to do that is through embracing greater freedoms.
Our main demand is greater freedom of speech. We all have enough courage to express ourselves.
They have come up with their own six-point plan that aims to reduce corruption and create new opportunities for the young. Their dissatisfaction is seen here as the main driver of clashes in the north, something that these elders are trying to avoid. Not so much to preserve the Assad regime, but rather to preserve their community.
No matter how we differ, we all need to protect our home.
And so far, this strategy has paid off. There are still those who oppose the government, but even stronger, they oppose death and destruction.
Human lives is the most important thing. Yeah, we should stop firing, and we can talk, we can discuss anything, and it should be like meeting together, and it's the better for us and for our country.
This grassroots experiment in reconciliation is all the more striking, given that this village has a long history of armed resistance. Al-Quraya was the birthplace of the Syrian revolution against the French. 2 years long, it claimed thousands of lives and left more than 100,000 homeless. Maybe that's why the locals are so eager to avoid new revolutions.
In that revolution, our country gained sovereignty and independence from the colonizers, and the violence of the past year is aimed at stripping us from it.
In addition to their revolutionary credentials, locals take pride in having good business acumen. Not surprising that their calculations of costs and benefits is not on the side of violence.
This village is like Syria in miniature. There are Muslims, Jews, Christians, Alawites. Some of them support the government, others oppose, but most of them agree that there is nothing more precious than peace. Oksana Boyko, RT, the village of Al-Quraya in Syria.